I think they're busy because Dondo is trying to contact them. It's frustrating so many people are talking. Your hot chocolate is getting chocolate. Chocolate, chocolate. Get a big chunk of chocolate. Get a big chunk of chocolate. Sitting there.
Look at that. This is an awfully boring video. Pretty delayed. Oops. Where's your picture? Your video? You. Can you see me? Why is that so squeezed? Hmm. The noise. Put it on speakerphone. Oh, hey, look at that. Excuse me. Yeah, put her on speaker if you can. Mm-hmm. What? To do what? You're not returning that. Hello, this is Steve. What's up? She's in her in the bedroom. Yep. Turn the. All right. Hey, so again, I'm talking to them.
Good. You ask them what they think of the website, that's all. Okay. Just read it out.
She can't hear you. Hey, I'm here. Yeah. Well, you can't add the call unless you pay for it. Oh yeah, we can't add video call. There's 3 calls on here. She's in there. She's not in the room. She's being mad. There she is. Let me give that website again. There it is. Did you get that link? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, let me put it on our Facebook. Well, I can put it on my Facebook and people can go there and get it themselves. Uh-oh. I'm gonna log in. Log. Fun, wonderful toy. No, I'm hearing dogs. Oh, oh. It's too bad we don't have a speaker hooked up to that. We'd have Tima and Stella going crazy. One viewer. Links. There's a viewer. Uh-oh. Video embed. Wow. Who? Oh, Dundo, happy birthday. What are you doing for your birthday? Nothing? Sleeping? Sleeping in? They don't or they do? Oh, they don't? That's too bad. Yeah, there's some people here, it's like you have your birthday and they're like, what, are you 12? It's like, no, you just celebrate the grace of being another year older. It's just being thankful. Yeah. 1400. I don't know. You can try it. Invite him, Suyan. Invite him. How about just your family and you want to go on vacation in the United States? Seems like the most logical reason. That your family and you want a vacation in the United States. Seems like that's the most logical reason. I'm here. She's cutting out. Yeah, she's cutting out on my thing. What's that? Hey, Dundo, you're there? Oh, somebody's calling. Oops. That's our kitchen. Oops. Don't know what's happening here. Hey, hi. Hello? Hello, you there? I'm here. Are you there? Uh, well, yeah, sort of. Trying, but I think there's like video conference or something going on that's messing it up. Oh, there's Suyen. I can't do the webcam while there's people. But you can, let me give you the link. You can actually see what it looks like. I don't know if that'll crash your computer. What sounds really bad? Who, me? Why? What does not working? I can hear myself. I don't even know if he's there. Can you hear me, Dundo? He's not there anymore. Try it again. Hello. I've been put on hold. Huh? Why don't you hang up on your end?
Ow, 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 ow.
Those are a pair of headphones. Hello? 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 Heh. Going to Florida. Hello. Hello. Hey, what's up? Oop, I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. No, I still can't hear you. Yeah, hold on a second. Maybe it's on my end here. Hello? Nope, I can't hear you. Oh, I hear you now. Perfect. All right, let me see if I can switch something here before I show you this neat little. Oh, boy, when I click off of it, it messes it up. Anyway, oh, there it is. Let me go to the desktop presenter, Skype, current call, and what I have to click on to make it. Yeah, Skype. And it's back on Skype. I'm talking to Vern and Topeka because you guys were ignoring me, and I know Vern would be fascinated with this. I'm going to give you a link. I'm doing this with my what do you call this thing? My box. And I guess what do you call it? The aspect on you is totally wrong, so don't be too offended if you're all skinny and everything. I think that might be because I wish I could get rid of that window. It might be because how do I say it? I'm using my camera for something else. So if you go to the blog and you click on the little YouTube window there, you'll see the something else. Hopefully it doesn't cause everything to crash. Oh yeah. Let's see, svobodakc.blogspot. Yeah, the link I just gave. So sorry, how are things going in Topeka? I know. Have you been talking to Bob? So you see that. That's semi-live. It's not really. It's kind of delayed. Uh, what do I do if I do this? Oh, there's my kitchen. Of course, it's not live, so you can't see it until a while. I'm using the what do you call it? My switcher, and then a software switcher for it's built for live streaming. Oh, it's so complicated. I don't even know if I can explain it. Basically, the computer that's using to control the switcher, which is this Apple right here. And then put the right input. And let me get rid of stuff. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, the computer I'm using is controlling the switcher, which you won't see this for a while. There's an HDMI output on the computer, and that's going back into the switcher. Yeah, you're getting the audio from me on probably on Skype, and then you're seeing the video, and you might be hearing my audio from if you turn the audio off of one or the other. Well, if you turn the audio off of off the live stream because the Skype is instantaneous. Yeah, it's like it'll make your mind explode. It's the eternal question: if you put instant coffee in a microwave, do you go back in time? It's a TV studio sitting on my kitchen counter, essentially. It can run 8 cameras, 4 of them SDI, and then one of my camera sources is actually my computer, and I have running in my computer a thing called Wirecast, which is used for live streaming, but I'm using it as a character generator basically. I've got a green screen set up. Let me see. Let's see. Uh, what's the unit I'm using? You mean the switcher? Oh, it's a Apple computer. I know. Well, I know. Are you familiar with Black Magic? The yeah, the technology company. Well, it's not a card. It's the switcher, the ATEM ME1. Well, it's how is it plugged in? Um, well, yeah, but the Apple is only acting as a controller really for the switcher. It's all it does. Everything is done through the switcher. You have a what do you call this? I know I can hear myself. That's kind of confusing me too. I don't know where I'm hearing myself from. But you have a Cat5 cable that runs to the switcher, and that turns the computer into a mixing board. And then yeah, I hear myself. Is that yeah? I know. Like split personality. Is that I wonder if it's coming out on your end or if it's coming through my end somewhere. If I have a leak somewhere. Yeah, that's a problem I figure out. But well, I don't know how one of the things I have to do is I have to turn the sound off on one thing and the sound on another thing. Like I said, I don't even know what I'm doing. No, I've had this since the end of 2011, and I've just got around to playing with it. I've been intending to do this for a long time. It's been theoretical. One thing after another has come up, and finally I've gotten the time to mess with it. And the idea is to try and talk to people long distance, and that way I could possibly interview people out of my kitchen and put it on my blog or whatever about any subject. And oh, the coolest thing is that you're watching it on YouTube live or semi-live. Let me change that Chiron. I don't know if you got to the part where it's doing the Chiron thingy yet. Oops. You should see me, and yeah, there's you. There's the kitchen and a small window. Yeah. What do you call yourself? Vern McFalls, video producer, professor. Ooh, will that fit on my? So far, it is. There's no spell check on this Chiron either. That's a bad thing. Spell check. You know, as dumb TV people. There we go. Uh, uh, it's in. I'm using what's built into Wirecast. And actually, I don't know if you could see what I see. You'll see it eventually, but it's a pretty good looking little. I'm just using what's built in there. Yeah, yep. That's that's pretty sophisticated from coming out of somebody's kitchen, and it and it's a little box that basically almost would fit in the front seat of a car. I was just saying it's a little box that would almost fit in the front seat of a car. So yeah, so things are getting pretty far along as far as technology goes. And this is actually, as far as technology goes, kind of old technology. Well, the Apple computer is fairly new. I guess the amazing part of it is the Apple computer is kind of handling a lot of tasks at once and doing it fairly smoothly. I know. Yeah. Well, it's running the switcher, which I don't think takes much, Wirecast, which kind of takes some, and Wirecast has a new thing that's really cool. Like I say, there's so many little buttons and knobs and things that if you understand what they do and how they do it, then you go, okay. What was really cool about Wirecast was when I discovered, what do they call it, in the broadcast settings. Oops, I'm in the Skype. In the broadcast settings, uh, external display output. And then you can send, you know how Apple computers are always good about having you could hook up another display to them? Well, now that they have the HDMI like everybody else does, you could send the HDMI, and I have it sent to camera 4 in my switcher. And so I'm treating camera 4 as my external display output. So essentially, it's my it's how I'm streaming back into the switcher from the what do you call it? From the Wirecast. Kind of. It's only a loop if you complete it. If you somehow create a feedback loop, which I've done. I was just bragging about my computer being smooth and looked like it was trying to lock up on me. It's done that before too. I don't know how far I can push it, but the video output is my Wirecast. I put a green background on it, and then I went into the switcher controls, into the, what do you call it? Which one is it? Yeah, it's upstream key 1, and played with the chroma, and my fill source is camera 4, and found the color, the right color. Uh-oh. Yeah, oh, there it is. And then played around with it until I got what I wanted, which is all these things keyed over a background. let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Which, let's see. Let me try this again. Skype. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, that was pretty quick. Now, I don't know how to change the aspect, and I don't know what's affecting the aspect to where you're skinny. Yeah, I don't know what's making it, but that's better than the window I had up, because the window I had up was like you with all the other Skype crap on it and me. And this one, I figured out how to get this one now. You go to current call and then you click off of Skype. Yeah, but unfortunately, I've made you shorter and skinnier in the wrong direction. Yeah, maybe we can make a T-shirt that only TV people would understand. And say, I'm not fat. I'm 16 by 9. Whoop. And it's pretty smooth actually. And oh, and that's the other thing. We're using a fairly crappy wireless connection too. Yeah, yeah. Uh, eyesight. You know, the camera on the computer, it's on, and I know I can switch to it, but oh, yeah, that one's the camera that it's supposed to be for my wife, and she won't cooperate. So I could actually turn that off if I wanted to. That was just playing around, or I could change the camera. Let's see. Let me change the camera on that. How do I change the camera on that? Oh, I go to the upstream key 2. Oh, yeah, and go to camera 2. There we go. Close that down. I'm glad I understand this somewhat. There we go. Oh, let's say camera 2. I meant to go to camera 3. Oop, that was weird. I guess if it's stuck in this, let's see, upstream key 2. Camera 3. Okay, there we go. Now I got the vanity view of myself. Oop. Great. Now it looks like I'm trying to make an X-rated video. There we go. Oop. Yeah, there's the computer. This might be more entertaining. Let's see, how many windows do I have open? Oop. That many windows. I'll move the camera around. Yeah, I know. Oh, well, you're delayed. Yeah, I see how one down. Now I'm looking at the computer. and the T-bar is in the middle. This is software controlled. It's not as smooth as a regular control board, which they make one for this thing. But it's the oddest thing in the world. If you buy the switcher, it's a little over $2,000. But the controller for the switcher is twice that. It's like 4,000 something. So they give you the software control that will control the switcher. Oh, it's fine. I don't mind it. Let's see. That's the switcher. Oops. Yeah. Oops. Oh, I need to go to camera 2. Yep. No, it's a Apple. It's not much. Oh. Oh. Yeah, well, we have ours. We got the black cover for ours. And I know as I say things and I reference things, it's a delay. It's a good thing we have that little feedback loop. We can actually hear what I'm talking about in the delay. Whoops. Oh, I know. Anyway, if you do you still teach? Oh, I was going to say you could tell your students that they could build themselves a studio in a box, and they can take over the world. You're right. If you could take over the world with this stuff. I've taken, what, since 1989, I initially saw the value of live TV production in the field. And everybody I talked to shook their heads no, and they said, no, 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 no. No, there's no use for it. There's no need for it. And the thing is like, well, there are a lot of events that take place that if you could get into a small enough box or whatever, I guess it took time for the technology to catch up to the vision, because back in 1989, you know, you had boxes that could do it. You had these little composite, as I call them, crapposite boxes, like the little two-source switchers. One I have downstairs, a Panasonic two-source switcher to run 2 cameras. And then they, 1995, they came out with the Videonics. 94, 95, they came out with the Videonics thing that'll do 4 sources. Yeah, and you know, it's back then for its time, it was all right. And then when people started talking about HD, and of course the quality had to go up. And then no, everybody couldn't afford that. Now it's like the quality is up. You got HD. Now the trick is to get it into a small enough box and a cheap enough box. And you know, the idea is it's really about democracy. It's about when you have live events. I don't know how to describe it. What I'm trying to get at, when people have like somebody's given a very important speech and there's nobody there to catch it, you know, the major media is like, you know, distracted, to say it mildly. Like, you know, a football player farted in another city. Of course, we got to send all our resources over there. Oh, let's forget about that. The guy who Jesus Christ is about to give a speech. You know, we don't care about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's been the biggest problem. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, that's been the biggest problem. Is that I've jokingly referred to this as the octopus. It's an eight source switcher. So you imagine if you had eight cameras hooked to it, with a potential of like anywhere between 50 to 200-foot lengths of cable. And people shriek when they think about the amount of spaghetti that creates, technical spaghetti, and the amount of work it takes to make sure that stuff is safe, and you know people will trip over it. And yeah, my thing with this is like, and the other thing, even more than that, probably more of a hurdle than that, is finding reliable people who can help you. If you have multiple cameras, then you have to have, in theory, multiple people operating those cameras. And that becomes a management issue. Yeah, yeah. I've done several things where I started out with enough people for cameras and ended up locking down most of my cameras. And the people went off somewhere else. I don't know. It's a labor issue, labor management issue. Now I'm looking at it from the other side. But, it's like, yeah, yeah. I really wonder where my audio. If I turn this down, it's going to turn everything down. So I'm afraid. Um, yeah, the other thing is that where I'm going now is possibly one man banding it and setting it up so that I'm contained in a corner and find a good corner with my cameras. And I've seen some professional freelance guys do it with multiple cameras, where they set up in a booth and then they have the cameras set up. I mean, you got limited camera angles, but they've set up in such a way that they can use one on a close-up shot, one on a wide shot, and then one they can kind of pan around and catch some of the action themselves. Yeah, yeah. There's a cost issue with that one. I've been looking at those. The ones that are like the ones for Sony, I think start at about $8,000. Yeah, yeah, and I think I haven't tested them out, but I think there's also an issue with them not being extremely smooth and stuff. But the way I've been thinking is what we're trying to do is we're trying to capture a moment that nobody else seems to care about necessarily. But for me, it's like I work in the field of broadcasting. I have a job. I get paid. Knock on wood. You know, and so it's kind of like, well, I need to figure out a way to give back. And by that, I don't mean to open the can of worms of everybody and their brother wants me to come work for them for free. But I mean give back in a way that they're worthy groups, worthy causes. that I can, donate my services to, donate my time to. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have this set up in the TriCaster, which can do all of this through the TriCaster, I think. And then all you have to do is find a way to stream it out, which fortunately YouTube is really, YouTube and Google is really, it took them a while, but they came up with something, because now you can grab a part of the screen, and I'm doing all this stuff on my computer, and yet it's holding on to the part of the screen that I want it to hold on to, which is what I'm broadcasting out through, which is actually ITV. Yeah, it's kind of, it'll blow you. I don't think they are. I think that there are people out there, but there are a lot of people who are out there. They're either working, or they only see the money in it. They don't see maybe the societal value of, trying to give back and using this to give back. There are some churches that do this kind of thing. That's an odd that's an odd thing. And another group of people, as a general group, who are surprisingly sophisticated about this stuff, are gamers. But mainly their end of it, their area of interest of it, is capturing. And that's another thing that's been a problem, is that nobody wants to come up with a good way of capturing the video in a good high def format. They want to build something that costs a lot of money. Again, which is crazy, because you can capture video in your camcorder on an SD card. Why can't they just build a little device that can capture video on the SD card and plug it into your output? What's that? Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I have a camera somewhere that got broken, and I think the part of it that's still working is that capture part. And I almost wondered if I could somehow make that capture part take an external source other than the camera. Yeah, yeah. It would be so easy if you could get your cheap camcorder with video inputs that you need, like an HDMI in, or a component input in. Like, you remember the old Hi8 cameras? When they first came out, they had inputs and outputs, so you could use them to record something other than the camera source. And then they did away with that. Really? Yeah. Yeah, there's I guess the other issue is the HD. There's so many different codecs out there, which I don't understand codecs or even what the word really means. I do sort of, but I just can't put it to words. And there's so many of them out there. Like I could go into Final Cut Pro and list, and just like the list goes on forever and ever and ever of all these different settings. And so it depends on what you are sending, what kind of video signal you're sending out. In the old days, you just patched in your video, you had component, you had composite, and that's it, you know. Now you have different flavors of HD, different compression schemes. Yeah. There's almost like, it seems like almost an infinite number of choices, but there's only one that works for what you're trying to do, and that makes it impossible. You know, you have to have like a little sheet in front of you saying, okay, what, and you know, there's some people that had the time to experiment around with it, but yeah, and you know, there's a lot of people who probably wouldn't understand even what we're saying, but you know, ultimately in the end is all this technology amounts to is trying to reach out to people and connect with people and get ideas out there. And you know, we're now in this selfie society where everybody's taking pictures of themselves, you know. And it's like, well, you know, we need to turn the cameras around and we need to take pictures of things that might matter to a lot of people. You know, the selfie matters to you and your circle of friends, and that's always been the case. I mean, I used to get frustrated with people who take pictures of their families in front of all the sites, and I'm like, I would like to see what you were looking at. Yeah. Well, they invented the word selfie, which is, well, it's become kind of a almost a what do you call it? A it kind of shows where our minds are at these days. We're you know, we're thinking about ourselves. We're taking selfies, and you know, yeah, I'm totally skipping around on the subject matter. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what they used to call the PEG services, public educational and government sources, which meant essentially that it's public access. That was supposed to be cable's give back to the community for having the right to carry what they call those, the franchise agreement, where they could be the only operator. Oh, barely, yeah. Well, they usually made a deal with the city, I found, to do the city government, and then that was fine. And then as long as nobody complained too loud, and a lot of times, and Bob and I agreed on this a lot. A lot of times, what I'd see is they would parade something very reprehensible was going to appear on their cable network. In Kansas City, it was the Ku Klux Klan. And it's like the Klan is around, and it was amazing to me that the people that would be most offended by the Ku Klux Klan would be the first one stepping forward and say, let them have their time and give their speech. Meanwhile, don't deny us the ability to do the same. And yeah, Yeah. Well, it's a freedom of speech, and yeah, exactly, and that's what we need. Let me see if I can change things. And it is, well, it's here. The problem isn't that it's around the corner or that it's coming. It's here. It's just that people don't understand it. They don't understand the potential of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that show. Oh, okay. Now I made you really big. I don't know if you like that. Hmm. Oops. Yeah, I know. This is the stuff you should be doing in preview, not in programming. Ah, this is really hard to control. I think part of it is my computer is like overworked. Oh, the clock speed on Apple's now is amazing. This just the factory amount. Uh, yeah. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out a way to make something more entertaining as a background, but I can show the living room. I know. Let's see, camera one. Oh, there we go. I just feel too narcissistic when it's all on me. Oh, oh, oh. Oops. Yeah, Max Headroom was really funny. Max Headroom. Oh, I'm not doing this live on the air because I have. Oh, you can do some effects in the Wirecast, which is actually really cool. So you can actually you have like two switchers going, one feeding into the other. And the one switcher is actually your CG device. Oops. Oh yeah, did you see yourself floating around? Yeah, there I am. Yeah, my wife would appreciate when she walk into the room and there she'll be, hey, you're on TV, woohoo! And I've somehow somewhat got the audio figured out, although I still have like something leaking through, creating a loop. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about, yeah, well, the other thing that I'm really excited about, oh, it looks like YouTube is done. No, it says it's live. Maybe something locked up. I don't know. What time is it? 8:15. I only booked till 8:33 or something weird like that. 8:33. Maybe my internet's is what. No, you're still there, so I still have internet. No, the other thing that excited me and was frustrating at first to me was Google had this great potential. And then they were like, okay, we're going to do YouTube live streaming. And, I realized early the potential of live streaming. I introduced it to Bob, which created a monster there. Um, and then he introduced me to, what's that site? Battlecam. Alki David. And then I saw Battlecam and tried it for a while. And then I was like, oh, my God. It's too... You couldn't get a word in edgewise because they're given that I don't know how to express that. But YouTube had this great potential because they were going to come out with this live streaming thing. They talked about it for years and years and years, and then they said, "All right, we're coming out with it with beta, but only for certain people that we pick. You have to be special invited to the party," and I wasn't special invited to the party, and yeah. Well, I understand that. Well, the thing that happened was, well, with Google and YouTube especially, they're really scared about intellectual property rights, and they really clamp down on a lot of things. If you farted a tune and it happened to belong to somebody, they think then your video will not be played in Germany. It's crazy. But I had a video. This strange thing. I had this video. It was kids pulling water out of a well in a school in the Philippines. And I don't know why, but somehow Viacom claimed it was theirs. And they went after it hardcore. They went after it as hard as they could, so it counted as a strike against me on YouTube. And so YouTube said, if you had any kind of strikes against you, you cannot do this beta thing. And I desperately wanted to get on. I was so frustrated. I even tried to go through their process of fighting it because I fought these claims before. There was one time somebody was like, you used a song, and it was like, yeah, I used a song in a way that was clearly what's the term where you could use something in the news, like in the news, fair use. It was clearly fair use. I demonstrated it, But ever since then, I've just like, nah, I'm trying to stay away from. I even had things where I'd be talking to somebody in a car. Or, there was one time I think I was in Westport of all places, and they piped music into the trees. And I was shooting video at Westport, and I got gigged in Germany because a bot could identify a song that was being played in Westport. And I'm like, wait a second, Westport is a public place. And this is very dangerous if you can play a song anywhere, and then that keeps people from being able to shoot video on a public street. Yeah, but life doesn't happen in the studio is my thing. Life happens in the world, and so to me, the world has always been the studio. I want to get out of the kitchen, which I can do. I mean, this thing actually sits on a box that can roll around, or I can actually carry it anywhere.
Do you have movement?
Yeah, you're in there.
Why?
Why?
Get me out there.
Then step out of the camera.
How can I step out? The camera's not fixing it.
No, I've been wanting to ask, how is Bob? Did he get his license yet? I knew that. I tried calling him tonight, no answer, so. Yeah, I can hear the strike against me on YouTube. Yeah, obviously, I wonder. No, I just wonder what I have open that's like sending the audio. Mute microphone. I don't know. I'll find it eventually. It's like having a conversation with yourself and yourself and yourself and yourself. This is the first time ever. You were my guinea pig. Thank you for doing that. But I saw you online, and I was like, this would be one guy who'd be very interested in seeing this. And I was trying different people, and um, actually, what we were trying to do is a typhoon hit the Philippines, and it hit my mother-in-law's school head on. And so I mentioned this to my wife that we need to somehow tell the people thank you that helped us from here, who gave us money, and I said, well, we've Skyped before. Why don't we try Skyping? I set this up because I've been wanting to experiment with it. We can record it, and then that way the people in the Philippines can tell them themselves. And unfortunately, nobody was cooperating. Everybody wanted to do the conference call and Skype, and I can't send video in the conference call. And then they all wanted to argue and talk about other things, and this and that and the other thing. And they didn't understand what I was doing. Again, it was above and beyond what they were thinking about. Yeah, it hit my mother-in-law's island head on. It was she lives on this island called Bantayan Island, and after it hit Tacloban, it made the first landfall east of Tacloban, hit Tacloban, went over, hit another this other thing called this other place called Dan Bantayan, which is just east of Bantayan Island, and then it hit Bantayan Island. And we were really worried because Bantayan Island is no more than a couple feet above sea level in its highest spots. And we were so worried about storm surge. We were like, this may be the last time we get to talk to these people ever. And then, fortunately, and there was a BBC documentary on it, they got really, really lucky. It hit at low tide, and the mud flats around that surround the island absorbed the surge. So what surge they got was very minimal, but they got hit by the wind really hard. And I forget how many, it was like, yeah, they addressed that in the, yeah, they addressed that in the documentary. What's the documentary is called, it's done by ABC of all people. It was really well done. It was called ABC Foreign Correspondent, ABC News. And it's something I had never heard of before. You don't see it in the States. And I only saw it online, and it was really well done. But yeah, yeah, yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, the thing that we were really grateful for is what we were trying to do is a lot of people simply by putting a little glass jar on their desks at work, they raised over $2,000 that we sent. I think it was like $2,500 that we sent there. which doesn't sound like a lot to us, but to them it was like everything. They were able to rebuild the school, and they still have some money left over from that they're going to use to replace the books that got destroyed by water. And you know, my father, my wife's father-in-law, my father, she was telling him about her aunts who didn't have any roofs and nobody was helping them. They didn't have any money, and my father said, "Here, how much they need?" He gave her, I think, $140, which was all it took to replace the roofs on their houses. Yeah, but a little bit makes all the difference in the world if you give it to the right people. And then that's the other thing that's been going on, and it's something that Facebook has been really good about, is that they will take, you can donate directly to family members or friends that you know are in danger and help, and it doesn't have to filter up and down and through bureaucracies and through governments and stuff, because the problem in the Philippines, and this is a problem all over the world, is the Philippine government has a lot of corruption in it. And they're finding things like a lot of money, that food and money that's being donated was not even reaching the people who needed it the most. And people are getting irritated about that. They're like, I give my money and it disappears into a hole. And it's like, well, if you know somebody and you can trust them, it's like having a direct access to those people who are in need. You get in contact with a village, you have to be very, very careful about it. Usually it's through somebody that you really know, like family members or whatever, and that's how a lot of aid got to the Philippines, because there's so many Filipinos who live here in the States, and they were like, I'm raising money for my family, and they would send it directly to their family. Yeah, well, it is. Actually, I'd like to do that. Well, the people who would be, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know where it is, but there's an entire island nation that has, I think, maybe about that, and it's a nation, but they're about to become a nation in exile, because, and they say within the next 20 years, the water's coming up to the point that they're going to have to leave their home. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's 8:30, I guess, and I'm about to run out of time that I booked for YouTube, but I guess I could always go forever on it if I wanted to. Well, thanks for being my guinea pig, like I said, and it was very interesting, very enlightening. Okay, definitely, definitely. And yeah, oh yeah. All right, well, I guess it's goodbye to Topeka from Kansas City. Maybe we can talk to somebody on the other side of the. Well, I was actually trying to talk to somebody on the other side of the planet today, but they didn't quite grasp what we were trying to do here. Maybe they'll see this and go, "Oh, they can do that on their kitchen table. Wow." Yeah. 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 Well, you'd probably be one of the people who would end up hating me. I was one of the photographers. Well, anyway, I think you probably locked up. Oh, yeah, me too. It's like I'm becoming schizophrenic here. All right. Well, thanks very much again. It's Vern McFalls from Topeka. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later.